As you may already know, all nouns in Spanish have a gender. Yes, every noun in Spanish is described as being either masculine or feminine. Now it turns out that it doesn't actually matter what the noun is, what the object is, whether it's something that we think of as pertaining to a man or pertaining to a woman. Through the history of the Spanish language, each thing has just been classified as either masculine or feminine. Now when we use an adjective to describe a noun, our adjective also has to agree. If the noun is masculine, the adjective has to take a masculine form. If the noun is feminine, the adjective has to take a feminine form. So when we talk about noun-adjective agreement, one thing that we're talking about is agreeing in gender. However, there is one other component to noun-adjective agreement, and that's what we call agreeing in number. That means if the noun that we're dealing with is singular, then our adjective has to be in the singular form. But if the noun that we're dealing with is plural, the adjective also has to be in the plural form. You may know that generally speaking, a word is masculine if it ends with O. There are some exceptions to this, some masculine words that do not end with O, also some words that end with O that are not masculine, but the general rule is masculine words end with O. Likewise, feminine words typically end with A. Again, there are exceptions both ways, words that end with A that are not feminine, and words that are feminine that do not end with A. But that's the general rule. That's the rule for nouns, and the same thing is going to go for adjectives. So if we have a masculine noun like el perro, and we want to describe it with an adjective, feo, for instance, el perro is masculine, so we need the masculine form of our adjective. Notice that our adjective ends with O. Therefore, a masculine noun, a masculine adjective, we have gender agreement with our noun and our adjective. We also need to make sure that we have number agreement. El perro is singular. Notice that it does not have an S on the end, so we need the singular form feo, also without an S. Now if we were talking about los perros, that would still be masculine. So we would still need feo, but we can't say los perros feo because we don't have number agreement here. To agree with the plural perros, we have to make our adjective plural by adding an S to it. These are examples with masculine nouns and their masculine adjectives. The same goes for feminine nouns. Let's look at an example. For instance, we might have the noun la muchacha, the girl or the young lady. If we wanted to say the pretty girl, we would need the adjective bonito but bonito does not agree with muchacha. Muchacha is feminine, so we have to make bonito feminine by changing the O to an A. Now we have gender agreement, la muchacha, bonita, they both end with A, and we have number agreement, muchacha is singular, bonita is singular as well. If we wanted to give the plural, las muchachas, then bonito would not only have to become bonita to agree in gender, but it would have to become bonitas to agree in number as well. I mentioned that not all masculine words end with O and not all feminine words end with A. Let's take another look. Maybe we want to say, let's go with el perro again. But this time we want to say big. Well, it turns out that the word for big is grande, and grande doesn't end with an O, it ends with an E. Adjectives that end with an E can be masculine and feminine. So let's look at a feminine example, la casa. If we wanted to say the big house, we wouldn't change the E to an A, we just leave it the way it is, and we say la casa grande. Now adjectives that end with E still have to agree in number, so if we said the big dogs, los perros, it would be los perros grandes. And the same would go for the big houses, las casas grandes.